Hello, welcome to the Well Prepped Kitchen. I'm Patty, and today I'm going to take you through how I make my ramen in a jar recipe using Thrive Life products. I'll provide a link below in the description so you can shop if you'd like to. Let's get started. For this recipe, you'll need a quart-sized mason jar, a canning funnel, and some measuring spoons and cups. Also a small Ziploc baggie and an oxygen absorber or vacuum sealer, which I'll demonstrate in a few minutes. You'll find links to these products in the description. So you're going to start with a protein. For this recipe, I'm using the Thrive Life diced beef. You could also use the diced chicken or chicken slices or even a pork. I'll have the amounts listed on the screen here. I'll add half a cup diced beef to the jar. Next, you can use whatever ramen noodles you like. I found these noodles that we like at Trader Joe's. They're called squiggly knife cut style. And we really like them, though they are a little thicker and take a little longer to cook. They have this little soy and sesame packet in each pouch of noodles, which is a really nice addition. You won't have to add soy sauce powder to the mix to get that classic ramen flavor. I really like to keep my ingredients simple. I don't like all the chemicals and additives in some of those little ramen packets, so I usually avoid those brands. I just break up one packet of the noodles a little so they'll fit in the jar and then measure out the first cup. You're going to need 2 cups for this recipe for 2 people. So we'll have a little bit left in that packet, but I'll just add this first one. You might need to break them up a little bit more just to fit them in the jar. And we'll finish up that packet and then open another, take that soy and sesame packet out. That can be used in another recipe because one is plenty for 2 people. Break up the noodles again and then just fill this measuring cup up to complete the 2 cups. And then add that to the jar. At this point, your jar is going to be pretty full. So just compress some of those noodles down into the jar a little more, just so we have some more room. Then we're going to add our dehydrated cabbage. I haven't yet found cabbage that's freeze-dried, but I have a dehydrator, and I dried my own last fall when cabbages were really inexpensive at my local produce stand. You can also use your oven to do that. You can also buy dehydrated cabbage online. You can just check Amazon. I've used the Harmony House and Augustin brands before, though not specifically the cabbage. Augustin sells a mixed vegetable blend that has cabbage in it, I believe. And after these initial ingredients, you can really customize this recipe to your liking. In the past, I've used the Thrive Life spinach, sliced onions, green peas. I've added diced carrots. These are all great ramen veggies, and you can add in the amounts you like that fit in the jar with a little room left. Today, I'm going to use some of my dehydrated broccoli as I'm all out of the Thrive Life broccoli. I added about a quarter cup as it will swell as it rehydrates when cooking. I also added about a quarter cup of the Thrive Life green peas on top of this. Then I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon granulated garlic, and I've already added 1 teaspoon each of salt and onion powder and a tablespoon of beef bouillon. I had a little trouble with that part of the video. To a small Ziploc baggie, I've also added 2 tablespoons of the Thrive Life green chili peppers and half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. If you're giving this jar as a gift, this is a nice option so someone could add the spices they want at cooking time. Just seal that bag up and set it down in your jar, and then add the soy and sesame packet and an oxygen absorber. I keep my oxygen absorbers in a mason jar. After you take out what you need, you can immediately reseal the jar to keep these fresh for future use. I love using this electric mason jar sealer. It's rechargeable. I'll put a link to this jar sealer I got on Amazon down below. You just press the button for a few seconds and it takes all the air out of your container and seals it at the lid. And I usually wait around 30 seconds, but I can hear the change and that it's sealed. Since I added an oxygen absorber to my meal, I'm just going to add the lid and ring. If you didn't want to use an oxygen absorber, you could just leave that out and then just vacuum seal your jar. Just demonstrating here how I took the small section off for regular mouth, and that fits on a wide mouth too. I really love this product. I had some chicken ramen labels already made, so I'm just going to change this one to beef since that's what we use today. I recommend trying out these recipes singly to see if you like them before making a lot, but you can see how easy it would be, especially for meals with a lot of ingredients, to make up several at once. Now we're all ready to prepare this meal. When you're ready to cook your ramen, you'll start with a medium to large saucepan. We prepared a beef ramen in a jar earlier, but I'm actually going to open a chicken ramen to prepare today. Take the lid off the jar, remove the soy and sesame pack and the oxygen absorber. Just set those aside and then empty the contents into your saucepan. Sometimes easier said than done. Be careful when you're removing the contents with a sharp object that you don't scratch the inside of your jar. You can sometimes leave a nick and compromise the integrity of your jar so you can't use it again. Ask me how I know this. And then once all of that is in the pan, we're going to add our water right to the mason jar. That helps get out all the little bits of seasoning that are left in there. 2.5 cups of water is what I like to start with. This doesn't need to be warm. You can just have room temperature or cold water. Okay, once added, just stir that around and submerge all the contents of the jar in the water to begin rehydrating. After you've let that sit for about 10 minutes, stir everything again well, and then turn your burner onto about medium high. So I'm just noticing that I used the chicken pieces in here instead of the diced chicken. It's a little bit larger pieces. So I'm just going to break those up a little so they'll cook thoroughly. If you have a smaller meat, you can just skip this step. You can even break these pieces up in the pan before you add the water. So then you're going to bring your ramen up to a boil and turn your heat down to a low boil and cook for about 10 minutes, stirring occasionally. You're just looking for your meat, vegetables, and noodles to be cooked through. So if it looks like this is taking a while, turn down your heat to a simmer so your broth won't all boil away. You can add some water near the end if you want your ramen a little soupier also. Okay, at this point, I'm just going to check and see if everything is cooked through. Everything seems about the texture that we like. Just sample this and see if it's where you want it to be. Yes, perfect. So cook a little longer if it's not quite where you want it to be. So this is all ready to dish up. This recipe makes 2 pretty good sized servings, or even 3, depending on your appetite. If you'd like, you can get really fancy and make some Japanese ajitama eggs or just regular soft boiled eggs to add to your ramen. But I usually use these jar meals when I'm pressed for time for dinner, so that's usually not an option. Now get that soy and sesame packet that you set aside, massage it a little to mix, cut it open, and you're going to drizzle some on the top of the ramen. So we're not quite done yet. It is pretty and really tasty at this point. But one seasoning we really like is this Japanese seasoning that I got at Trader Joe's. I know Trader Joe's stores aren't in every area, but you could probably find a similar one online. I feel like this just takes your ramen to the next level. What a great meal to enjoy that was really easy to prepare. Yum. If you enjoyed this video, please press that like button and consider subscribing for more videos where I'll be sharing tips, tricks, and great recipes for your well-prepped kitchen. Bye.